Hey guys, welcome back to the Blue Collar Future Podcast. I'm your host, Jaden Robison, with our co-host, Jessie, again today for our Q&A. The
little RFI.
Yeah, our RFI episodes. I never know how to phrase that because some people probably aren't hip with the RFI episode nomenclature we're using right now. And so they might not be like, oh, that's just a Q&A. So I almost have to say RFI Q&A.
Yeah.
see how many abbreviations we can put in there. You know,
Yeah.
the RFI Q&A for the BCF pod. But, anyways, well, dude, you had a freaking fire that was like right by your house, practically. I guess a few miles away, and I saw it, and I was like, "Jeez!" And hopefully nobody's house has got. Wait, did that little breakfast place get?
No.
Nothing.
No,
okay.
It was literally like, so there's a breakfast place, and then there's a greenhouse. It's just west of Herms. It like went away from all that toward there's that 4-way stop down the road. It's basically what it burned, like just that like side hill and some other stuff. But yeah, luckily no one lost any houses. No, just looked like it burned up a couple cars. But yeah, really weird place to have a fire. But they got it out quick, so that's good.
There's so many fires going on everywhere. It makes me wonder what everybody's doing to freaking cause this crap. I mean, something like that off the side of a road could be as simple as something dragging behind a car and a spark catching some weeds on fire. But still, and there's fires all over the place, and we're such a crappy time for it right now too.
Yeah, everything's dry. It's crazy.
Yeah, we're in the middle of a drought. It's 100 degrees. You know. Speaking of which, my HOA got after me because my yard wasn't done.
Really?
And I'm like, we're in the middle of a drought. Like, what? You're going to make me lay sod, put grass in the middle of a drought? I got to water the crap out of it to make sure it doesn't die. Like, you're going to be...
Well, like 4 times a day? Or
dude.
What is it?
It's 4 times a day for like 5 minutes a piece or something, like 5 minutes a zone. But yeah, that's still essentially 20 minutes a day, which is for like the stuff I put in, which is like we're supposed to only do 20 minutes 2 times a week. And I think I have to water like this for 2 weeks or something.
Your neighbor's going to love you.
Oh, dude. Well, there's some other people that put grass in too, but I'm like, freaking HOAs. I mean, they're just trying to give out fines.
Yeah.
So I was upset about it at first, and then I was like, yeah, whatever, I'm just going to do it then. Because we had Charles' second birthday, and I was like, I can probably get it done before then. So we ended up pushing, was working late, trying to get my yard ready and sod laid. And it surprises me how quick some of that stuff can pull together.
Yeah, you got it done.
Oh, I'm excited. I don't have to work on my yard anymore. Or at least not to make it presentable and be rushed about it. And I don't have to sweat my balls off anymore either out there. Because it's freaking hot. Nobody wants to come home from working outside to then go work outside more. It's not a fun thing to do. But, well, let's get into these questions. So we had one about, let's go with the one from Garrett first. And what was that exactly? I didn't write the whole thing down.
Oh, you're good. I got it. Garrett. This is Garrett Schaefer. He's a masonry contractor up a little northwest of us. Garrett's pretty cool. Garrett said, how do you balance hitting stressful deadlines and not thinking about those deadlines after work? I say screw it and go fishing, but no, it's hard not to bring your work home with you when you're in a position like all of us. And I think it's inevitable that it will come home with you, but the only way to get around that sort of stuff is like you have to carve out time for things that are not related to work. There's no other way to do it without saying like, from this hour to this hour, nothing about work has anything to do with me, so it's like you get home, you still have things going on, and like there's stress. Don't get me wrong; it's not a perfect world, and things go on and whatnot. But it's like from the time I get home, shower, decompress, and after 6 p.m., I'm not thinking about work because I'd rather be with my wife and pup
Mm-hmm.
and doing other things. So it's just a matter of protecting your own peace. It's like you spend the majority of your day, the majority of your week at work and with the people at work and with the problems at work. So if you don't come home and protect yourself and your time with your family and stuff like that, it's just going to keep bleeding over. And
Mm-hmm.
you already dedicate so much to work. Like you got to make sure to specifically dedicate time to
Mm-hmm.
your life, your family, your hobbies, things like that. And if it takes putting your phone away and just like leaving it, then do it. Or if it takes having a work phone and a personal phone or whatever you got to do. But yeah, you have to be very intentional about protecting that time and how you deal with it.
Yeah. I think,
Or I do, at least.
yeah, I think in this scenario, it's not even as much about hitting the deadline either. It's just about making sure you have a disconnect between work and home. Um,
Mm.
it's there's a couple ways to think about that because it's not healthy to sit there and stress about anything
Mm.
for too long. Too much stress ages and literally just ruins your health. It ages you and ruins everything in your body. Your body reacts very
Yeah.
poorly to extra stress. But the thing is, like, there has to be a disconnect for some rest. And I think it takes some acknowledging that you've done what you can. And maybe just at
Mm-hmm.
work, that's a little more taxing because you're trying to do everything you can at work to speed the process along and be as efficient as possible. And by the time you get
Mm-hmm.
home, you can just kind of accept that you've done what you could and you got to keep moving forward. But we are in a little different situation because, like, we don't really have deadlines like that. Our jobs take a day or two. Um,
Mm-hmm.
and so for us, it's a little different. I take it more as with us, it's more worrying day to day, job to job about the details of the next day because we're always having a concrete pour in the morning, and there's always that stress of wondering if guys are going to show up right on time, or the mud's going to be on time, or the pump's going to not show up, and all these other things, or something's going to be in the
Mm-hmm.
way and we won't have access. And there's always stuff like that, and you can't really worry about it because when you're at home, you can't do anything about it.
Yeah.
So it's just kind of needless stress that doesn't add anything to you. All it's doing is subtracting. And then if you're stressing too much and you're not getting good enough rest, you're not good for the next day. So I think it takes some forcing a disconnect, like you said, and whether that's
Mm-hmm.
through just leaving your phone, taking up a new hobby like fishing, or doing something at home like just reading or something like that to kind of
Mm-hmm.
focus your mind and not let that type of stuff worry you all the time. I think that's probably the best you can do.
Yeah, I think it's important to remember that you can only control what you can control. So,
Mm-hmm.
like, you come home stressed about it, you're anxious about it, or like that sort of stuff. It's nothing like sitting here and panicking about it, or like is gonna fix the situation.
Yeah.
So, just control what you can control, do your best, and do what you got to do to like put your crew in a position to succeed with those. And if things come up and whatever, take note of them and make sure that like those are brought up in your weekly schedule meetings. And like,
Mm-hmm.
hey, I couldn't get this done because the excavator's over there pounding sand next to the wall. Stuff like that. I'm sorry, I mean dirt crew, not excavator. But just the little stuff like that, taking notes, and you just control what you can control. Because I mean, if you're sitting home anxious about those sort of things, you're basically making yourself deal with it twice,
Yeah.
or making yourself deal with something that isn't going to occur.
Yeah.
Like it's just,
Yeah.
you're forcing yourself to deal with things that you shouldn't have to deal with.
Yeah.
And yeah, as long as you put your best foot forward, your best brick forward, then what else are you going to do?
Yeah, exactly. I mean, at work, as long as you know you've done all you could during the day, there's nothing really else you shouldn't even need to worry about it, because you should know you're ready or like on top of it. I think one thing also to bring up is this is kind of a sign of being that you actually care about what you do. So I think that should be also taken into account, that you're stressing so much because you are like, you actually care about it. And I think that's as important as anything, because a lot of people that don't give two craps about what they do or their job or anything and do crappy work aren't going to be worried about it. And so on one hand, it's a good sign, I guess, if you're stressing about it. But on another, you kind of got to just force the disconnect. I don't want to say you got to be one of these crappy people that doesn't give two craps, but you almost got to be able to flip the switch and be like, all right, I'm done. I don't care anymore. So, which is hard.
I think another thing would be to like do your best at the beginning of the job to get into the scheduling meetings and be the person that knows your scope and gives a realistic answer, instead of just like, oh, well, the office guy said it should take this long, so you guys can get it done that quick. And the owner wants it open by the Super Bowl, so like, it's like, cool, well, that's not realistic.
That ain't gonna happen.
We're the guys doing it. So here's about how long it's really gonna take. You know, let's have some honest conversations. And if you're listening to this and you're one of the people that coordinates job site schedules before they even get started, maybe bring in the people that actually do what you're doing, and you could get a realistic schedule rather than trying to just guess.
And maybe be aware that things could happen, like acts of nature and acts of God, and walls can fall down or something.
Yeah. Like, I mean,
dude, stuff can happen.
Yeah, and people plan for every day to be the best day ever at work when they bid things or when they estimate things, and you don't realize that, like, you know, they don't account for things going wrong or little things or weather or, you know, like it could be, you know, like that, like the wind blowing the wall over, or it could be as simple as like, hey, it rained for 3 days straight. What do you want us to do? Yeah. Like, exactly. You know, it's just, they don't ever plan for those little things. And then they're just like, well, you can come in on Saturday. And it's like, no, I can't. I was like, no. Your project doesn't mean that much to me. You know, it means that we get done and we uphold our reputation. We do a good job and that sort of stuff. But doing overtime to catch up your misjudgment on a schedule, it has nothing to do with me.
Yeah, which is ridiculous, because I can't expect, like, the weird pressure on contractors, or from general contractors to the subs, to like make up for everybody else's lack of preparedness or slow working, lack of planning, whatever, is ridiculous. I mean, I don't understand how any of them can be like, oh, we need you guys to get this done right now, we're behind schedule. It's like, well, that's not our fault. I mean, what do you want? Everybody's busy, you know, everybody's doing their best. At least you'd hope so.
We told you it would take 5 months to do. That doesn't mean 5 months from your start date. It means 5 months from when we show up on site. So the fact that you delayed it 2 months has nothing to do with me. Yeah.
No, we're not going to be done when we said we would be, because we didn't start when we said we would start.
But that's life, though. I mean, there's always going to be something.
There is always something. Like HOAs freaking up your peace at home. Let's go to the next one. Next one was from Instagram, from the Blue Collar Future Instagram, from Les Sparky.
Oh, that's our girl.
She's dope. She is. I've seen some of her stuff. I think we've been following her only recently. I don't remember why. But anyway, she said, she was asking what inspired / interested you to make content. And for me, I mean, I've said this before, but it was when I was younger and all I heard was derogatory things about trades and people in trades and what trades do to people and their bodies and stuff. And I kind of was like, that's BS. There's no way. And, you know, it was enough of an example to me when I started working out and people kept telling me I wasn't going to be able to keep working out and that it was going to ruin me and stuff, to be like, yeah, something ain't right here. And that's kind of how I got started. And I think I saw some people posting about it online, and kind of inspired me to, and essentially inspired me to be like a good example for people in the trades in general, sharing knowledge and to help people succeed, because it seems like people think that if you're just in the trades, you just didn't succeed or something. There's kind of a weird stigma there. There has been.
For sure.
Yes.
Was there like a certain video or anything you can remember? Or like a creator or anything that you, or was it just like, I can post about this?
Yeah, I don't think it was a specific creator. I think it was just seeing, just in general. I think I was kind of coming around to it, and I had started posting on social media a little bit. And I just kind of was coming around to it and started thinking about it, and I was like, I could be an example here of like, oh yeah, no, you can actually take care of yourself in the trades, and it's not just going to break you down. You know? It's not just going to ruin your life, and you're not just going to be tired all the time, even though I do get tired, but everybody gets tired. But the more I've paid attention, the more I've noticed that people that don't work in the trades, that work like desk jobs and stuff, complain just as much about being tired after work and having back pains and all that crap. It's like, I don't think there's a perfect solution here.
Yeah, agreed. For me it was Dallas and Christina. Christina, for those of you listening, my wife, that don't know, Christina's my wife, and she had her car page when we got together because she had that Evo, and so she had created a thing. At the time she was making enough money that she didn't. That's what her sole income was doing the Evo page, and then she just kind of got tired of it, and we sold the car, and she's done some other things, but. Christina and my sister were like, you should do this because Stu Crompton, that's the reason I asked you if there was someone. But Stu Crompton is a bricklayer from England that does like really satisfying work. He's like really, really good on the tools, and he does a lot of that ASMR stuff. And he was like the first bricklayer to ever get 1 million subscribers on YouTube, and just this sort of stuff. And at the time, TikTok was blowing up. They're like, you need to do this. And I was like, no, I'm good. And so Dallas came up with, that's my sister, came up with Slim Brick, her and Christina, and they're like, just, here's the page. Just send us a video or post about it. And so I did that. And I just kind of like threw spaghetti at a wall trying to get something to stick. And or I would video stuff and post it because whatever. And then, had that video go viral. I was like, okay, this is real. And like, at first it was like showing my work and, showing off like that construction can be a real career and that sort of stuff. And then I realized that people on the internet are stupid, and they pick apart everything. So like I didn't show my work as much. Like I wasn't really trying to show off that sort of stuff anymore. And it evolved into like the leadership principles and, the trades can be a real career, and like kind of my perspective on things. Cause I came from the world of like, let's just yell about it. And like, I don't want to be that type of leader, So I was like, well, here's my perspective. That's different. I don't believe in like all that sort of stuff. I don't believe in, I worked 80 hours this week, I'm better than you. I don't believe in like breaking your body to like prove a point that you're tough, like that sort of stuff. So like I started posting about that, got a lot of traction. That's when the take care of your shit sort of stuff started coming around. And it's just evolved from kind of like, well, let's play around with this because like these guys are telling me to I can show off my perspective, and I can hopefully inspire and educate, and now there's like some money involved and some other things. So like there's companies that want me to show off their stuff on my platform, and like I think we've talked about the pendulum's kind of swung a little far this way into that, and I got to bring myself back to even keel and like post my content, post that content, make that money, but still create genuine good content that's supposed to inspire and educate and that sort of stuff. So it's always kind of been an evolving process on what inspires me to post content or like that. But yeah, it just kind of started as like, hey, you should do this, and then it evolved into something else, because
yeah, I guess listening to you explain that right there made me realize too that I started the podcast before I really started making any content. And so the podcast was kind of also my first way into, I mean, literally what I said, like being an example, the podcast was the first steps of that. But then I kind of realized I could be a content creator on Instagram. I never really thought about that. And that was sort of interesting to me. And right now I'm kind of, on the far side of the pendulum of having zero desire to make any content pretty much, except for my contracts, which is still weird to think about, like my deals or contracts I have going. But it was really didn't start off for me as a money making thing necessarily. I didn't even really expect to be able to make any money on social media. So I think that's probably the way to do it, although it's probably also better if you have a plan to make money, because when you get the opportunities start showing up, it's kind of a weird thing to handle if you don't really know how to go about it. But
and that's I guess a lot of it too, like I said, it's an evolving process. So like I started sharing like the lifestyle and stuff like you do, you're and this is what I wanted to bring this up because she's really good about this. It's like she's an electrician apprentice, and she's sharing like, her sobriety sort of things like that, and like, how to make a good life and stuff in her trade. And I always really related to that sort of stuff because it's like we come from an industry that like has a really, really high, like addiction problems and like rates, I should say, and other things like that. So it's important to have creators like you, her, and several others that are showing that like, no, you can be in the trades, you can be sober, you can create a good life for yourself, that sort of stuff. And so like that sort of stuff still really inspires me, and like that's the sort of content that like we need to be putting out because it's important rather than like the you got soft hands, brother nonsense. Even though that's funny and like that's a stem that's going to live in my life for the rest, live in my head for the rest of my life.
Yeah. No, it's definitely needed out there, and I like seeing all of it. So anybody that is doing a good job at that, I like to hear, which is interesting because I went to my 10-year reunion, like I was just telling you before we started recording. That was yesterday, 10-year high school reunion, and I had quite a few people mention my podcast to me and say they love seeing it and they love that I'm putting the message out there for like trades can be, good careers, and they listen to it and stuff. And I just was thinking about that, and I was like, that is so weird to think about, because sometimes like we make this podcast, I put it together, put it out there, but sometimes I don't really expect that there's people on the other end listening that I might actually know, or even I mean, it just is, it's really funny, and that's the type of stuff that makes me want to keep going with it, and maybe also has inspired me and interested me in continuing, is seeing some positive feedback, not even really the monetary stuff, because the monetary stuff kind of gets old for me. Like it makes it into too much of a job and doesn't really inspire me to actually keep going with it. I think it can be a good motivator for a minute, but then it's like, oh well, now I just have to have more obligations and I have to do this thing the way that these people want it, and it's not just kind of doing what I want and creating what I want. So
agreed. Like I don't know if you said, Christina put on Snapchat the other day when we were at the rave with Odd Mob, and a kid came up and he's like, do you do tile? I was like, no, brick. And he goes, that's right, you do brick. He goes, I don't do construction anymore. He goes, but like your stuff is really cool. And like just sat and talked to me for a minute. Hearing from a young kid that like we inspired him in some way or some other, or like the content hits home, like that feels way better than any direct deposit or check that I've gotten from this. Like it just sucks that like, the pendulum swung that far where I was like, let's bring all that in as quick as we can. So it's like we need to get back to that sort of stuff.
Yeah. Cool. Let's move on to this next one, which was, I don't know who this one came from. What do you wish you knew as a younger blue collar guy?
Oh, that's from Trevor. Uh, he owns Canyon View Landscape here locally. That's who we did that planter box with,
Oh,
or who
cool.
hired us to do that.
Mm-hmm.
And I responded to this on my story. But what I wish I knew as a younger blue collar guy would be, the the idea to take care of yourself and take care of your shit. You don't need to go out there and prove how tough you are. I mean, to a certain aspect, there's that comes with respect and whatnot. But like, as young blue collar guys, it's like, oh, I can carry all that by myself, or like I can, stay up all night, do all this sort of stuff, or like be up at work all day, don't take care of my body, all that sort, and it just eventually breaks you down. Like that's why trades get a bad rap, I think, is because like you get gung ho in that, and that's when you get hurt. That's when you get into this lifestyle that's not any good for you, that sort of stuff. So it's as a younger man, I would say like I wish there was more of a push to take care of yourself and take care of your body, to not drink alcohol, to sleep well, to you know still be in the gym even though you're like yes you're going to be tired, but like eventually the more you're in the gym the easier your job is because this is manual labor. So like you know you've created a tool within your body to really like properly do what you're doing, if you have the right amount of muscle and that sort of stuff. To eat well, don't
Mm-hmm.
go eat at the gas station every day, just those sort of things. Like I wish there was more of a push toward that when I was younger,
Mm-hmm.
um, you know to not do all that sort of stuff. But luckily, I'm not that old, so like I'm glad that caught on pretty early.
Mm-hmm.
That maybe when I was younger, I wish I knew that like the idea that people have their own problems going on and that like what they say has nothing to do with you. Because like there's a lot of old grumpy journeymen or just grumpy people in trades that are like they've got whatever they've got going on at home, and like they bring it to work, and that's what makes them yell. It like really has nothing to do with you. But as a young kid, that definitely like affected me.
Mm-hmm.
um, and I should finish that up with saying like if that didn't affect me in the way it did, maybe I wouldn't be the leader I am today, or like that leadership style I am today, because like I didn't want anything to do with that. So like that's not how I lead.
Mm-hmm.
And if I didn't experience that, maybe I wouldn't have that drive to be on the other side of that so much. But
Mm-hmm.
just maybe younger. Those would be the younger things, or things that I wish I knew as a younger man, was like take care of your stuff, and like other people have other things going on, so don't really pay too much attention to them.
That's. I would definitely second that. Don't pay too much attention to what people say or take things too personally, because everybody has things going on. Um,
Mm.
I think to that I would add, say, get some patience with yourself and with people.
Mm.
Patience with people is hard, and patience with yourself is even harder. And I would say
Mm.
that as realize that the work pays off at some point.
Mm.
And if you just put your head down, focus on your work, focus on getting better, learning all that you can, it does pay off, even though it seems like it takes forever. Because I look back at when I started, and it honestly feels like just yesterday, but it's been a long time. Like, it's one of those things that back then I was always like, this freaking sucks. I hate it. I don't want to do this
Yeah.
anymore. And that was when I was going to school and thinking about getting out of the trades, because I was always like, this is freaking stupid. I hate it. I hate everything about it. It's hard.
Mm-hmm.
And it took a few years for me to get around to this place where I can then look back at my time and say, wow, it's actually paying off. Like, I actually know things, and I'm getting paid pretty well, and I have a lot of opportunities. But it takes time and work. And then I can also look back at all of the times that I have lost my cool way too much with way too many people and
Yeah.
cared way too much what people say, or things in the moment, and let my emotions get the better of me way too many times. And it's just not worth it. It's not worth holding on to that stuff. So I'd say I wish I knew to be more patient overall with my work, with people, with myself, and also don't waste so much money on
Yeah. Yeah,
freaking
for sure.
stuff. Like, nobody freaking cares about your dang truck. Like, it's nice to have one, you know, and I really liked having my nice trucks, but wasting all the freaking money on the toys and trucks when you don't really have as much to begin with. I wish I kind of knew, if I just kind of put my head down and focused on work, I could have all of that stuff much easier in a couple years. And what difference does it make? You know what I mean?
For sure. That's a good one. Yeah, I think a lot of people get into the trades and like they look at that like, oh, you know, like he's got the brand new platinum, he's got this, he's got that, you know, and then like I need to do that. And like if you could just delay that for a while, like just drive your old truck or your old car and eventually save up. Like try not to have as many debts as you can for as long as you can. And like you said, it's easier on this side of things.
And be a little more prepared, and don't waste all your money at the gas stations and on energy drinks and all that stuff. I mean, there's so many different things to do with wasting money that I look back on, like all these little things that add up. That I'm like, man, I could have done so many cool things if I just didn't waste money on stupid crap. And I look at some of the younger guys out there, and I'm just like, man, I wish I could go back to where you are right now and freaking, or come up to you and slap you across the face right now and be like, quit doing stupid shit. But at the same time, it is how you learn. So some people just need to take that, and that comes with being patient too with people. Like it's really easy to look at everybody else and see their mistakes, you know, and maybe a little bit harder to look at them in yourself. It's really hard to look at them and be patient and realize it takes people more time to come around to different things than it might have taken you. And putting that into perspective is really hard, but can be really helpful. I think I had one more thing to add there, but I don't remember. Be patient. Don't waste money. Yeah, I think that's it. Awesome. So let's move on to the next one. What is this masonry wages question here?
Oh, yeah. And maybe this relates to concrete. I don't know. You would know that better than me. But Kurt Miller, local, said, what's your opinion on masonry wage compared to other trades? Can't wait to watch this episode. And I answered this on my story a little bit, but I think, especially where we live, it's a race to the bottom. I think that people and GCs and subcontractors all see like, oh, we're taking the cheapest bid. It doesn't matter how it gets done. It's just we just need to be in budget, that sort of stuff. And so that encourages people to go cheaper and cheaper and cheaper and cheaper until you end up with stuff like Visionary Homes, where you have one guy doing the full exterior, or one crew that doesn't really know what they're doing. And like that's why you get stuff like that picture I took the other day where there's, you know, it goes from a 2-inch rip all the way up to the thing because someone doesn't know how to read a brick tape or whatever, but they don't care because they just want the home built as cheaply as possible. And you get the same thing in commercial too. Don't get me, like, it's just, I feel like everything is just a race to the bottom in that situation. And, you know, maybe it's not the same in other locations, or where there's a lot of union work or like specialized work or that sort of stuff. But like, I think the pursuance of getting things done as cheaply and quickly as possible leads to problems where, you know, all the other trades like locally, like you know, masons apparently used to get paid pretty well back, you know, the 80s and 90s, but like it's just kind of stayed there. It's like it's kind of, you know, everything's gone up a little bit, but like my old man was telling me when they were working in Reno back before, like when I was born and before I was born, they were making pretty much the same that we're making now. And he's like, we used to be like one of the top paid trades, and now like all the other, like electricians, plumbers, all that other stuff has gone, you know, above us. And it's just because, like, you know, we didn't protect ourselves. We're trying to do it as cheap as possible. You know, people don't care about that sort of stuff. They were only worried about that schedule and that deadline, that unrealistic deadline, and the budget and other things like that. And like that's why it comes into like when people are like, why don't we build beautiful things anymore? It's like, well, you don't give people time. You don't like, that's not what you're worried about. You're worried about it. You're worried about your grocery store being open for the Super Bowl. Like that's, that sort of stuff. And I don't know how to fix it other than to like keep encouraging people to like work together. It's like, or do you unionize, or like, what do you do? It's like, hey, if we all stand on this of like, we don't do this for cheaper than this. Like we don't, all of our guys make this. It costs this much to install brick, this much to install block, this much to install stone. Like unless we stand our ground, it's just going to keep going that direction, and they're just going to keep hiring like, oh hey, that dude knows how to get things to stick to a wall. Let's hire him. Because he said he would do it for $10 a square foot versus the guy that's a masonry contractor wanting to do it for 32 or 36. Like it's just, I don't know. It's there has to be a certain point of like standing up for yourself instead of like racing to the bottom and that sort of thing. But I don't know how you solve that in a place like Utah or somewhere else that's like that's so ingrained in it. Like that's the direction they're going.
Yeah, I think it's like you said. There's a lot of people that are just worried about getting things done fast. So, people don't care so much about quality. Just want it done, and in this market that we have, speed with your money is kind of like what people are after, moving money fast through projects. So it goes all the way down to the contractors, and there's too many people that are willing to pay their employees next to nothing because they'll find guys that'll do it in order to essentially do it fast and cheap. And people are more worried about cheap too. Like, it's funny because there's a lot of times where there will be a cheaper company that won't be able to do it as fast, but people will just go with them because they're cheap. So you would think that speed kind of goes along with quality sometimes, but maybe not so much quality, but price. Like you would think the speed of being able to turn around a project well, I guess, would be more money, but not with some of these contractors out there. There's some contractors that turn out crap really fast, and it's because they pay their guys like nothing. I know I've talked to some people that we know that were framers, kind of in 08, 09 era, and still are, but back then framers used to be a lot better thought of, and right now framers aren't really that well paid either or thought of, and they'll bring in crews that are just a bunch of essentially illegals here working for pennies on the dollar and are totally fine with a bunch of junk as long as the house gets framed quick. And they were saying they noticed, like, as soon as the economy went down, there was a bunch of people that were like moving here, and they're living like multiple families in a house, all working in the same company. So they're literally able to make next to nothing compared to everybody else because they're all crammed into one little living space, and they just got like this massive crew of people that are just banging these houses out for pennies on what everybody else is doing. And it sucks because that's kind of what devalues our system here. I mean, you get people from other countries and cultures come in here maybe too. It's just, there's a lot of things to it.
Yeah.
And not that I'm against people coming here, but it's more like you get like waves of changes that just kind of throw everything off, and then people are racing to the bottom to compete with this or that, and these people can do it cheap and that type of stuff. So
yeah, I think one of the most important things here in that conversation is, because it's a reality, right? Like there's people coming in that they don't know any better. The country they come from, it's like, oh, you're gonna pay me like that's a lot of money back home. Yeah, I'll do it.
Exactly. Yeah.
But the problem isn't those people that come here to this country trying to build a better life for them. The problem is the contractors that take advantage of that and put them on a 1099 and pay them pennies on the dollar, and then the GC still hires that freaking company and allows them to do it.
Well, exactly. Like it wouldn't be possible if nobody was hiring them for that either.
Yeah.
Right.
If we gotta, the system needs to stand up for those people too. Of like, hey, you can't, you can't be taking advantage of those people just because they don't know any better. You can't have them on a 1099
Yeah.
because then they're not on your workman's comp, and it just creates a liability for the entire job site because you want to take advantage of a group of people that don't know any better,
Yeah.
and you want to take advantage of that and pay them pennies on the dollar so that you can make more money. And then the GC just looks the other way because, oh, well, it's going to get done cheaply because that's what the owner of this building wants and that's what our budget allowed. It's just stupid. It's ignorance, and I guess it's not even ignorance. It's turning a blind eye to something that like we should we should be taking care of those people too that are coming here trying to create a better life for themselves.
Yeah.
And they might get here a different way than like we think they should get here or whatever it may be, but it really comes down to the contractor that's taking advantage of their lack of knowledge, and then the GC that doesn't turn around and say, hey, we can't have that on this job site.
Yeah. I think that's a big part of my point is that they come and what they're used to, like what they're doing the work for is so much more than what they're used to that they're just fine with it. And then they find ways to make it work. Like, I think people here are also a little bit entitled to their prices, like, and to making a bunch of money. And I think there is a little bit of where people start getting just super expensive because they're like, I can make more money. I can charge more for this. And it kind of gets out of hand. And then you have situations like that where people come in and just like way undercut you on prices that kind of throws the system back into,
Need to meet in the middle there.
yeah. Like there's a lot of people that are just like scalping on prices like insane, and people that are gouging on prices, and it's like, I just don't. Yeah, if we could all just kind of have like a standardized, this is what we can do it for. I mean, to bring it all back though, you can still charge what you charge and work will come to you from what I've seen. People will still pay for quality and pay for a company to come in and do things that's actually paying their employees well, which people don't think that happens, but it totally does. Like, we don't have any problems getting work, and we're not exactly like the cheapest people out there. Like, I've heard of some people doing concrete, same things we're doing for nothing, dude, like absolutely nothing. And I'm like, how are they making any money doing that? It's crazy. Yeah. But we still have plenty of work, and at some point it comes down to your reputation and the quality of work you put out, and people are still willing to pay for that. So it's I mean, I don't even know if this answers the question, because masonry wages compared to other trades, like, I think that's part of it, but I don't know if it's the full answer.
Yeah. And that's, I mean, I should probably, like, there are GCs that they know you, like, we're an established, we've been around for 30 years. So like, there's certain contractors like, nope, we're going with them. Like, even if you were the second or third bid, like, we know that you're going to get it done. There's still a little bit of that out there, but it's just, I think the wages as a whole is like, you've got, like you said, you've got these people that don't know any better, they're at the bottom, and you've got people that are up here that are like, nope, I'm not doing it for less than this. Like, there just needs to be a standardized middle ground of like, this is what you can earn from this. This is what you can charge for this. This, like, and not necessarily like, hey, Jaden, you can't charge that much, because if someone's going to pay it, do it. But like, there needs to be more of a, like, I guess, transparency for people to know. Like, I wish that, like, I could tell a lot of the immigrant guys that I know that are making, half of what I make, to be like, hey, our trade's worth this. Like, don't be dumb. Like, and it's not that you're dumb, you just don't know any better. It's like, the contractor that pays you is taking advantage of you. But it's all, like, I just wish there was, like, a transparency standard, I guess I should say, so that, like, everybody knew what was going on, and it's not just a race to the bottom, because otherwise, we're never going to get ahead of this curve.
Yeah. I know it's something that we're probably never going to figure out either.
Yeah.
Because I don't think any enforcement of something like this would be good either.
Yeah, it's like, it changes, because it's not a free market. We've got other problems. But I don't know. I guess there's the other side of the coin too, where people are like, well, AI and robots could take your job. And it's like, well, if you're worried about that, like if you're worried about someone being able to take your job, you need to worry about how you market yourself, because your reputation and your skill level, like, hey, we charge this amount of money because we're able to accomplish this in this amount of time, and this is our craftsmanship. Like that's, there's a lot of that on the other side of it too. So it's a really, really big conversation that like we're not going to solve anytime soon.
So to take a little bit different angle on this, do you think that starting out, let's just say like masonry wages starting out, how do you think they are compared to other trades?
That we pay apprentices and first timers and laborers more than other trades do.
Yeah.
Like I know that we do that. It's just the ceiling's a lot closer, personally. So it's like, because I know they're like, oh, well, like we just started, I make $18 an hour. I was like, that's cool. That kid barely knows how to run a shovel. He's making 22.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I think it's similar with us. Like we're realistically starting people off around 22-ish or something like that. I mean, it depends on, I think we have started people out at that. I think there might also be a closer ceiling with us compared to starting out wages and stuff. But it depends, because like there's a lot of trades that are supposed to make a bunch of money but don't. So I think it depends on where you work and what you're doing and exactly. But yeah, I mean, I think overall, I think starting out wages are probably just as good as a lot of them are. Anybody starting out less than $18 an hour surprises me nowadays. Like that would seem the bare minimum to start out to learn something, but what do I know? I don't know.
Yep.
Well, cool. I think we got all those questions pretty dang good, Jessie.
We had some good ones this week.
We're concise and tight with this episode because we both have things to do, and that should be something to be proud of today.
It's Grandma's birthday. We're hitting a deadline.
Oh yeah, dude. So I appreciate everybody listening in, and again, for those people who don't know, we collect questions on Instagram right now, but you can always message either of us. We may or may not get it.
Don't email me.
Don't email. You can always message.
You can DM me.
DM one of us. Don't text me with a question either, for that matter. Don't call me with your question. No. Yes, you can DM or on the question stories that we put out. We do these about once a month. So appreciate everybody listening in and asking questions, because it makes for a good episode. And next time we're going to have a topic episode. And if you got something out of this, share it with a friend. That's how this podcast grows. We like to hear good feedback and responses. So like and share, subscribe, all the good things. And Jessie, it's always a pleasure. Appreciate you.
Brother. Appreciate you.
And we will see you guys next time.